Good morning, everybody. This is the first morning rant of the 2024, and it's gonna be a personal video. I want to do a little confession of how I feel. So if you don't want something so personal, please switch and go to the next YouTube video, okay? If you see my face a little more disturbed than usual, is because December 20, I started having an infection in my eyes. It was very annoying at first and a little painful at last. I reached the peak on December 24th, and my mother-in-law, she's a doctor, prescribed me antibiotics for the eyes. And then the situation was going to be a little better. But around December 31, New Year's Eve, the infection returned very strong. And it was difficult. So January 3rd, I went to an oculist and he prescribed me other medications, and now the situation is way better than before. I'm healing. I think that by the middle of this week, today is January 8th, I will be almost fully recovered. But during this long holiday break, my mood was very low. I was depressed, stressed. I thought I had a lot of bad thinking. That's one thing. Now I want to talk about 2023 from a business point of view and a personal point of view. But I don't want to talk about 2023 without talking about 2022. 2022 was a very good year for my second job, the software developer. I was very satisfied. The first 3 months of 2023 were way better. And so I was very excited and optimistic. And so you have to sign this date on the calendar because I'm never optimistic. In April, when FX Factory greenlit Transcriber, so they accepted to sell it through their own marketplace, I was so confident that I say to myself, you know, Alex, you're a good businessman. You're a good entrepreneur, you're a good developer. I don't know why I say these things aloud. And I said to myself, you know what? You have to treat yourself for your successes. Successes. And I said to myself, you know, the selling of my apps on my store is doing okay. And I think that Transcriber, I don't know if it will be a very success, but it will increase the revenue of my second job as a developer. And I said to myself, you know what? If by the end of the year, with the second job, you reach a revenue goal around 80% of the first job, you have to treat yourself, you have to award yourself. And I said to myself, okay, I will buy an iPhone 14 Pro refurbished. I never buy new iPhones because they're too expensive. And I develop stuff for macOS and not for iOS. So I prefer investing in computers. By the way, today I own a MacBook Pro with M1 processor Pro. And I'm very satisfied. So that was a very ambitious goal. But you know, I was very confident and optimistic. And then one day, 2 or 3 days later, I said to myself, what if you have a very super big success with Transcriber? So big that you can reach with the second job the same revenue of the first one. I said to myself, this is 100% impossible. But you know what? Dreaming is free. And so I said to myself, you know what? That was April. If you reach with the second job the same revenue of the first one, you must super treat yourself and award yourself with an iPhone 15 Pro. At the time, there was no specification of the 15 Pro. I was just speculating, and I said to myself, let's do this because I will never be able to reach this goal. It's 100% impossible for me. And then Transcriber went out. It was a huge success, way beyond my expectations. I was surprised and I didn't know how to take this. And so in July and August, I see the first goal reachable. I can reach the 80% of my first job as a revenue with the second job. Wow. Okay, that's good. I reached this goal by the end of October. And then September and October came, and the announcement of the iPhone 15 Pro, and it was huge. You know what? You can record in ProRes directly on an external storage with log. Oh my God, that's what I need for my first job. I want it. And with my second job, at the end of October, I had the revenues for the 80% of the first job. And so the second goal, reaching the same amount of revenue with the second job with my first job, wasn't anymore an impossible target, an impossible mission. And so I said, I cross my finger, let's hope to reach this goal so I can buy myself an iPhone 15 Pro. And then November arrived and this goal was reached. I remember when I had the money transfer from FastSpring, the platform used by FX Factory to pay the developers. And in a couple minutes, my second job became my first job. I watched my app in which I see the calculations and all the charts and for the revenues. And then I showed this screen to my wife. And she said, where did all the money go? And so I said to myself, okay, I can buy myself an iPhone 15 Pro. But you know what? I always question myself. I always have doubts and I am never able to enjoy this kind of stuff. The day a lot of people will say, I'm successful, I'm good, I'm super powerful. I said to myself, okay, that's the minimum you can do with your life. That's how I face my existence. I hope that no one is like me because it's a little difficult to be like me. And so I say, let's clear everything. I will never buy an iPhone 14 Pro and I will never buy an iPhone 15 Pro. Let's change the goal. And I say to myself, okay, if with the second job, with the developer job, I will reach 115% of the revenue of the first job, I will buy myself a new iPhone. Okay? Because I think that there will be no possibility to reach this goal. And by the first week of December, I reached this goal too. I said 115% because it's a very round number. I wasn't satisfied anymore, and so I raised the bar again, something like 20% more of the revenue of the first job. And I reached this goal by December 24th or 25th. It was Christmas, I think. And so I said to myself, I cannot justify myself to buy something that costs more than 1,100 euros. It's impossible. So I raised the bar again by another 500 euros. And then December 30 arrived. And with the projection, I said to myself, okay, it's unlikely that I can reach this goal. So peace, I won't buy an iPhone 15 Pro. I delayed this purchase by mid-2024 or by the end of 2024. And all my friends, my closest friends, say to myself, you're a fool, buy this damn phone and shut up. And my wife said too, you have to treat yourself, you were good, you did good this year. Treat yourself and buy this damn phone. She said, buy this fucking phone. And I said to myself, I cannot allow myself this. But I was hoping to reach this goal. And so, for the last 2 days of December, I created a new campaign in which I offer very, very powerful discounts on my bundles. But my bundles are a group of apps that you can purchase to have a very, very big discount. The most important bundle is the Power Bundle, 18 apps. And if you buy this bundle for 65 euros, you save more than 60%. I think it's a no-brainer, but 65 euros for customers can be a lot if you're not living in Europe or North America. December 31 arrived, and my projections were that I could not reach this goal by something like 100 euros. And I said to myself, let's peace. And a friend of mine, Daniele, purchased one of these bundles, saying, you give me all these apps for free, I want to help you with this, and so I'll buy these apps. And I said to my friend Daniele, you don't have to do this, it's not fair, and so I refund him the purchase. Okay, I have to do this by myself. I was not so optimistic, but at 4:00 p.m. I did some purchases, and so the goal was reached. I sold a lot of apps. I did a reasonable amount of money. And so I said to myself, oh, screw it, I will buy this fucking iPhone. And so I started searching on Amazon for offers. But this holiday break was a very, very bad moment for me. I was very depressed and tired and stressed. My face, my eyes was hurting, and I had a lot of bad thoughts. I said to myself, you're not a good director, for sure. Surely you're not a good developer. You're not a good husband, you're not a good father, all the stuff that come to you when you're not aligned with the universe. On January 1st, I canceled all the items in my Amazon cart. My wife said, okay, when does a new iPhone arrive? And I said to her, I don't want to buy it. I don't think I deserve it. Something inside me said to myself, you do not deserve it, you do not want to deserve it. And I was very stressed, depressed, and my eyes were hurting. It wasn't a very, very good moment. And that's it. January the 3rd, I was playing with my child, and it was smiling. It was very, very good moment. father and son moment. I look at him and I say, oh, he's something like happy. It's not broken like me. He's okay. I think that all the optimistic vision of the life came from his mother, not from me. For once in my life, I say, oh, maybe I did something good. The moment didn't last, okay? But in that very moment, I said, you're not so bad as a person. And so I purchased an iPhone Pro. I purchased an iPhone Pro and it came January 5. By January 5, I returned to be pessimistic and I had a darker vision of my life, of life in general. And so I said to myself, you know what? I won't open the Amazon box. I will return it by Monday, January 8th. The iPhone Pro rested in that box for more than 24 hours. My wife looked at me and she said, what's wrong with you? Open this fucking box and get this fucking iPhone. I didn't have time to do data transfer from my old phone to the new one because when I had something like 10 or 20 minutes of rest because my son is sleeping during the day, I used my iPhone as a baby camera to watch and listen to him, to be notified if he woke up. But at some moment during the dinner of my son, I said to myself, okay, let's feed my son and free myself from this weight on my shoulder. And then I went to my basement and took this box and opened it and started the data transferring. And so everything that you saw today was shot on this iPhone, this brand new iPhone 15 Pro. I shot in H.265 because I could not attach an external device to this iPhone, and without the microphone because I didn't have the right attachment to use the microphone with this new USB-C connector. And so the audio was recorded with the older one, the iPhone 12 Pro. And that's it. I cannot say that this is a happy ending story because, okay, I have a brand new iPhone and tomorrow I will shoot my new TV commercial with this iPhone. But I'm happy with myself? No. I cannot be happy with myself. The last time I was happy with myself was a lot of time ago. A lot of time ago. Yes, I have sparks of happiness or joy, but I live in this ocean of darkness. And sometimes it's quite difficult to face it. Okay, sorry if I was tedious and boring and not so exciting today. I promise that for the next week I will be more joyful and I will say something more interesting for you. But that's it. That's me, with all my contradiction and all my dark sides. If you didn't like this video, please comment below and say to me that I had to buy this fucking iPhone. Or, I don't know, say what you want to say to me. I will listen, always. For today, that's all. Thank you, and have a great 2024.